Morning everybody. It's Wednesday morning and we are lucky enough to have been able to get down to Swanage Pier again for sunrise. It's just after 7 o'clock and you can see the dawn light is just starting in the background. The wind is slightly lower than it was the other day when we were here, and we're the only ones here. It's awesome. Now the pier is all lit up, so I'm going to have a go at getting a shot down here. I've got unfinished business with the little bandstandy seating area at the far end. And then it's all hands on deck to get the shot of the pier we're going to get a glow in the sky rather than any startling lights on the clouds. Although there is a huge bank of cloud coming up in that direction, and I'm sorry it's so dark, but it literally is just street lighting at the moment. So I will catch up with you once it's a little bit lighter and we've got some shots. See you in a bit. Well, that was an absolutely fabulous morning. We didn't get any clouds in the sky, but we got a very slight amount of gradient colour in the horizon. The sun was rising over to the right. I'll turn you round from where we were stood. You can see the hugely blown out area there is where the sun's come up. And very similar shots. There's a limit to what you can do in that area. But it was different weather, different light. The light was beautifully soft. So I finished off down there. I could have stayed there forever. Didn't actually get the 10 stop out. I was using a combination of reverse grad, 0.6 grad filter and the polarizer. And at one point I popped the 0.9 ND on just to smooth the water out a little bit. A couple of the images have actually got some slight movement in the water, which I quite liked. So then I've come down to the pier, the other end of the pier, with the little, it's like a little seating area behind me, which I quite like. And you saw me just now doing the setup shots for it. The wood floor on here, the decking, is lovely. There's some really nice textures in it. And they've got little brass plates, I think they're brass, and they've all got engravings and inscriptions on. I'm going to try and get a closer up shot of those when I move back down the bottom. There's definitely a shot to be had showing those detail, but still keeping the context. So I'm going to wander back down and try and get some of the detail shots, and then I think we're going to have a wander around over to the other side of the beach, which if I whiz you around just over here, whoops, where are we? There, just over there, there's some rock outcrops which I presume are kind of breakwaters, and there's one in particular that's got a nice red light on the end of it, which I think is actually a stone jetty. So, been a fabulous morning. Not sure where we're going to go next. Oh, we've disappeared again. There we go. Not sure where we're going to head to next. There's a couple of places in mind for sunset, but I'm not going to name any names because we never end up going where we say we're going to go. So I'll sign off for now. I'll pop the photos up. I'll try and remember to put the data on, and I'll catch up with you in a wee while. Bye for now. moved round from the pier onto the beach, and we found some groins with the red cages on the end, which I seem to recall somebody telling me on the Dovercourt video were radar cages. So we'll take it as they're radar cages. Now, I'm currently facing the sun, so I haven't got a clue what you can see. So you may be able to see behind me somewhere there the little red groin, oh sorry, the little red cage. And I've just been concentrating on doing a few long exposures to smooth the water out, but then I've dropped the shutter speed. No, I've increased the shutter speed. I've taken the 10 stop off and put the 0.9 neutral density filter on to try and catch the action of the waves as they're coming over the groins and the cage. Now I'm going to have a go at spinning you round to show you what I've got, and then I'll tell you about the settings. But you can just see around here the waves breaking over the groins and the little radar cage. Let's try that again. I've got a nice smooth one. That was a good one. We've got some proper wave action, and I'm thinking we'll probably do that in a square crop. So I'm just going to spin you around again, just a sec. Now apologies if you couldn't actually see that or if it was out of focus. With the sun coming in at the angle it is doing, I couldn't see a thing. I had no concept of whether the camera was in focus or whether it wasn't. However, the last shot that I did with the waves crashing in was done at, let's have a look, see? Yeah, we've got f13, ISO 100 and 1/3 of a second exposure time. That's using the polarizer, 0.9 neutral density grad and a 0.9 grad as well, just to bring the sky down a touch. And I think it's worked quite well. Now there's a fair few compositions around here. That's not an archetypal composition because I had the pier, or sorry, not the pier, the jetty. No, it's not a jetty either. I had the groin coming in a quarter of the way up the frame. Ideally, I would have liked it coming in the bottom corner, the bottom left corner. But you can't always get what you want. It's warming up quite nicely. It's got to be 10-12 degrees. The wind has dropped right off, which is fabulous. I might even take my coat off. We were all saying earlier on, won't it be nice when we don't have to go out with thermals, woolly hats, gloves, 13 layers of clothes on. But believe me, when you go out and you're doing long exposures and you're stood around, it's well worth wrapping up in proper gear. Thermal underwear, waterproof lined trousers. You get so cold just stood still. And the worst thing when you're trying to concentrate on doing photography, on doing a specific shot, is feeling cold, because all you want to do is pack up and go home. So that's public service announcement number 3. Wrap up warm. Wrap up warmer than you think you might need to, because that wind can be biting. And on that note, I'm going to crack on and do some photography. If I don't catch you before we leave here, we'll see you at the next location. No idea what that's going to be, but I suspect it will include the sea somewhere along the line. See you in a while. Well, we found our third location for today, and it's just a hop and a skip from the location we were just at, which was the chapel. Now, excuse the camera blowing. I'm in a bit of a wind tunnel, but I found a composition and I think it's going to work. I normally struggle a little bit with huge vistas. I'm getting slightly better at them, but I'm still not as good as I'd like to be. Now I'm going to just turn you around a little bit. You can see down here we have rocks coming back and going out towards the cliff edge. And then just over here, you might not be able to see it from here, just a second. Where are we? There we go. Just down here we've got waves breaking on the rocks below. And then we have this stone monolith. I think it's called the Hammer. And it's just sort of balancing there. So I've got the lead-in line with the stones coming in from all angles at the bottom of the frame. I'm getting a little bit of the bay, and I'm getting the hammer in as well. The sunset isn't going to be perfect, because if we spin around here, we've got a huge bank of cloud, which is going to block a lot of the light coming up. But there is just a hint of colour coming through here, and the clouds are moving at a really good rate. So the long exposures are working quite nicely. I've done a couple of test ones, and I was on about 89 seconds, I believe, with a 10 stop, the reverse grad. I didn't use a polarizer, I didn't feel the need. So there's a theory that as the sun goes down, it takes the wind with it. So that's what I'm praying is going to happen, because as the ambient light's dropping, an 89-second exposure is going to get even longer. Although hopefully I'll be able to take the 10 stop off and put maybe a 0.9 neutral density on, and still get the smoothing effect of the water, still get any streaks in the sky with the clouds that are coming across. So we shall see. I didn't think I was going to like this place, but it's grown on me. And I believe it's an old army barracks, an old army post. I'm going to do some research when I get home, and if I find any info, I'll pop it down below. But there's all old buildings around the other side of this rock here, around the other side of this headland. There's loads of broken down buildings, and you saw the steps. The most bizarre steps to find in a place like this. The guy said there was a set of steps down to it, the gent we were chatting to in the lookout up there, and I thought he would mean cutaways into the ground. I never envisaged that he meant stone steps. So I say it's an ex-army RAF type base, but I will do some research and I'll put some stuff down below if you're interested. What a fabulous location. Right, that's it for today. See you tomorrow morning at another new location. Bye for now.